Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Certified Cinema. And this is where we get to have a beautiful and very, very intellectual person as our guest today. Now, the question is, have you ever wondered how movies come from Hollywood to your local cinema? Have you ever questioned why it takes like 3 or 4 or even 6 months for the movie you've been waiting for all year or even 2 years to finally get to streaming? Have you ever wondered why some films get released earlier in some regions and later in ours, or vice versa? Ladies and gentlemen, this comes down to the dynamics of film distribution. And our guest today is in that field of film distribution. Today with me, we have the founder and MD of Crimson Multimedia, which is a company dedicated to film distribution theatrically in East Africa. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Trushna Patel. Wait, this is the part where you're supposed to like feel yourself
Ooh,
and throw gang signs. Or maybe it's the wrong music.
probably. But thank you so much for that amazing intro. It made me feel very special. Clearly, I've done something right in my life.
You have been doing great things, not something great, a lot of great and fantastic things. I mean, if it's not for the likes of you, we wouldn't have this show because now we have, we get the movies in cinemas, we get to watch them and talk about them. So, yes, we are grateful to you and we're privileged to have you on the show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I see my little impact in the community.
Yeah, but I think most people would want to know, or maybe it's my bias. We like to have people coming here who are into film, and I'm taking it since you're in film distribution, you are also a film nerd. Is that how you got into the business?
I think so. And you could
Hmm.
say partially yes.
Yeah.
I love watching movies. I watch everything.
Hmm.
I'm probably one of those people who watch, especially Bollywood. I watch everything,
Hmm.
irrespective of whether it's good, bad. I mean, somebody needs to be able to figure out what's good from bad, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I love to do. The love for films was one of the reasons, but I think also just being exposed to an environment
Hmm.
that was all about film.
Yeah.
I got the privilege to visit Warner Brothers Leavesden Studios and
Mm.
also their offices in Theobald Road
Hmm.
in London. Um, that's where I thought, you know what, this is exactly what I want to do. There was no course available that could teach us about film distribution, but I saw it there and I thought, this is it. And I'm going to make sure I get to this somehow. And so I applied for a position there, but being a Kenyan citizen back then, they were not issuing any work permits.
Hmm.
And so I ended up coming back
Yeah.
and I applied at the local film distribution company. There was the only one back then, which
Hmm.
was Fox Theaters or Fox Film Distributors. And I applied once, I did not get any feedback, and I applied the second time a couple of months later. And, I got into an interview,
Hmm.
and I still remember that Kiss the Girls,
Hmm.
Morgan Freeman's film. It was in cinema at that time.
Hmm.
And my ex boss, out of the blue, asks me, what do you think the film has achieved in terms of box office?
Hmm.
And, I asked him, are you asking me in US dollars or Kenya shillings? And that was the first brownie point because he
Hmm.
thought, how would she know? But hey, I had been to the Warner Studio
Yeah.
offices and I kind of had an idea of, the kind of lingo they were talking about. So I decided to throw it as well. And
Hmm.
and he said, okay, tell me in dollars. And I said,
Hmm.
okay. So I had a thought and I came up with a figure of $15,000 back then. That was quite a bit. That
Hmm.
would probably be about 150K now.
Hmm.
And he just stared at me. He didn't say anything. Now I didn't know whether I was right or wrong. But after the interview, I stepped out, and his finance manager, who was kind of getting through the interview, he said, "You did well." And I said, "What was the figure for Kiss the Girls anyway?" And he said, 14,900. I'm like,
Oh,
"What? Okay. That's, my luck." I
yeah.
did some guesswork there. I didn't expect it to be that close, but that's how it all started. And I got a job, not doing what I do today, but it was a job in. And I said, "You know what? Let's get in and we'll figure it out. I'll prove myself."
Yeah.
And so I got in, joined the company. A couple of months I was doing their admin accounting for the non-Kenyan countries where the films are being released. And then one day, the marketing manager, he was from Coast, he comes up to me. I was quite young. I was just 19 years old then. So he comes up to me and he says, "Listen, I'm going home for the weekend. Here are the keys to my office." And I said, "Okay, what do I have to do?" He said, "Just go and chill out. It's Saturday, not much to do." I've done everything. I said, "Okay, cool." I don't even know what to do anyway.
Yeah.
So I went to his office, sat there, had a coffee on Saturday, closed the office, left. Come Monday, I go back to my office and I get a shout that, "You have the keys to the office." I said, "Yeah." He left them for me. And he said he's going to be back on Monday, but he hasn't come back to pick up the keys. So how naive I was, I did not realize it was end of the month and the guy was quitting the job, but he was not going to come back.
Yeah.
So I was just thrown in the deep end and was told, "Well, figure it out.
Because you have the keys.
You're going to do all the reporting today." Monday is quite crucial in our business. We gather all the data. We have to send it back to the studios. Back
Yeah.
then it was fax machines and email that you dial in.
Yeah.
So I was just thrown into the deep end. I got a lot of help from one of the team leads in London who was working for Universal Studios. And she was very helpful. I would constantly be on phone calls with her to try and ask her if the reports were correctly updated. And then I go to the boss's office and stand there and scan page by page, and it's faxed. And then I have to call back to check if they've got all the 15 pages or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that's how I learned from absolute scratch, thrown in the deep end. It was the hard way, but it was the best way.
Yeah.
Made me indispensable.
Absolutely.
So since then till now, I still feel that in the industry, I am a leader. I created quite a few templates and formats that should be used for reporting for cinemas, for distribution. And I find that other younger generations who are stepping into the businesses or our competitors are using my templates, are using my drafted contracts.
Yeah.
Why? Because I noticed one of them using a contract that had the same spelling error that was in my draft one. So, obviously I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
But that has continued. So I was also part of now developing, formats and ways of operations within the African continent.
So from baptism by fire to
Yeah.
actually now having a company, Crimson Multimedia.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I think that's something we could, that's my take home, that maybe being thrown in the deep end isn't such a bad thing.
No,
Maybe it's an
it's the
opportunity.
best actually, because you learn from the worst, from many mistakes, but it really thickens your skin.
Yeah.
You figure the tough ways out. COVID was another one.
Yeah.
It made me very resilient.
Yeah.
I am not scared of the tax people now. I am not scared of anybody coming to, or debtors and creditors. We have ways to deal with them.
Yeah.
We owed people money. The one thing I did was always speak to them, whether we are shouted at or not. But I realized that if I owe somebody money and somebody owes me money, how do you think I feel?
Yeah.
Likewise, the other person will. And so these are all lessons to learn.
Yeah.
Which kind of, make you understand, okay, the best way to deal with things are in this manner.
Yeah. And it's interesting when you say that there was no course, there was nothing to study, which also makes me think that when it comes to film distribution and the film and cinema business at large in Kenya and even in East Africa, there isn't that much general knowledge about film distribution out there. So I would
Sadly.
ask, for the sake of the viewer, like what exactly is film distribution? Because
Okay.
I would
So first
say,
things first. There is no course on film distribution, even now.
yeah.
Most of these mentor companies do, mentorship programs, and they invite film distributors where they have a panel. It's just a panel. It's not a course, sadly. Um, Film distribution, to define what really it is like how in layman terms, when you, let's say, want to buy a Coca-Cola, it starts from the manufacturer. The manufacturer isn't going to go door to door to sell to people. They have uh, one unit that works with distributors. Okay, so their responsibility is to align the suitable distributors in every region and place that can have this product available to them. Now that distributor is where we fall in. They are selling that Coca-Cola down to supermarkets, the retailers. From the retailers is where the user goes and purchases as convenience, a single soda. The distributor works with the large numbers in quantity to supply to the retailers. The main wholesale distributor is working with now all the distributors to provide their quantities, and the manufacturer is making the product and giving it to somebody saying that's not my expertise. Our expertise is to make sure that the Coca-Cola is made right.
Yeah.
In our business, the filmmaker is at that production level. They make the film. They then sell the rights or entrust a distribution company like a Warner Brothers or Walt Disney or Universal Studios. They then have a network across the world of distributors that they work with. Like Crimson is their distributor in East Africa. So they then give that film to us. We now have a network of cinemas. We supply the films to them. Those cinemas now are the retail end of the business,
Yeah.
and they now offer it to the consumer to go and consume it at their convenience.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the chain. So we sit as a medium between the filmmaker and the studio
Yeah.
to the theatrical retailer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so that's because I was going to ask. I used to work at a cinema, and the question that I would get a lot is like, where the films come from. So basically, like how the movies come from Hollywood to the screen, and when I pay at the cinema counter, how does the money get from the cinema counter all the way back to like Hollywood, then when you see the highest grossing movies. And so if I'm to put it in a chain and to put like names to it, we'd say like maybe Ryan Coogler is the filmmaker. He gets into partnership with Warner, and then Warner comes to you on behalf of East Africa, right? Is it Kenya or East Africa?
East Africa.
East Africa, yeah. And then now you as Crimson would talk to like wherever the consumer wants to be. So if it's Anga, Westgate, Century, and then now that's where they get to see the film. And when they pay now, the money goes back down that chain.
Correct.
So they pay to the cinema pays you, and then you pay Warner Bros.
That's right.
Awesome. So if I pay like say 800 at a cinema, how does that work? Like how does
Okay.
it work in terms of revenue for
So
you?
I wouldn't want to be quoted or taken into account in this scenario. We'll take it as an example. Let's use 1,000 shillings, which
Okay.
is easier to divide. Okay.
Yeah.
So a consumer walks to a cinema. They are watching Sinners.
Mm-hmm.
They buy a ticket of 1,000 shillings. Go and consume it. The cinema reports to the distributor. We get a daily report at the end of the day or beginning of the next morning, which is detailed to show on that particular day, on that particular screen, X number of tickets sold at the rate they were sold at. It could be 500, 600, 1,000, depending on what we have approved upon. There is a tax element, VAT that is included, and the net amount is now indicated. For us, for reporting sake, globally what you see as numbers, X movie grossing $300 million or so.
Yeah.
It's that gross box office, which is the ticket times the ticket price.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's look at 1,000 shillings is what Sinners achieves.
Yeah.
And that 1,000 shillings is reported to us.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the week, we collate from Friday to a Thursday what Sinners did
Mm-hmm.
throughout the week on every single show that was screened.
Yeah.
There's a total sum of it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's still hypothetically assume it's still 1,000 shillings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We then send them a bill of a percentage of that. Now, these terms we pre-agree. Some movies can be a 50-50 share. Some
Mm-hmm.
can start higher to the distributor
Mm-hmm.
and slightly lower to the exhibitor, and they scale up down. But these are terms now,
Yeah.
which I'm not privy to go into depth with.
Mm-hmm.
But that, let's for the sake apply 50% on this.
Yes.
Okay, so from the 1,000 shillings less the VAT is 84 shillings.
Mm-hmm.
84 shillings, we divide 50% of that. So
Mm-hmm.
that would be 29 shillings.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, 49 shillings.
Yeah.
Okay, am I right?
You see, that's 84
Sorry.
divided by 2.
So that's 42 shillings.
42 shillings. Yeah. 42.
42 shillings is what we retain, and 42 shillings the cinema retains. 16 shillings goes to KRA.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, from this 42 shillings, we deduct our fee for doing all the hard work. Any approved expenses could be, printing the posters, standees, doing some advertising on radio or social media, outdoor media, whatever it is.
Yes.
The cost of the content, these days we do e-delivery. So there's a whole e-delivery process.
Yeah.
But there's a cost to it. Censorship, and if there are any other distribution related expenses, they are deducted. The balance, let's take hypothetically our commission is 10 shillings. From there, another 10 shilling is expenses. So that leaves 22 shillings. That's what goes back to the studio. And any taxes that apply locally, that are applied by the local tax authorities. So that's how it works.
Okay, that's interesting to know. And so now that we know how the movies actually make it to the screens, I think another major thing that people are very concerned about is the kind of movies, because it seems like the movies that we get on screen are kind of selective compared to what's happening globally. So to give you an example is like we may get, for example, people are crazy about Demon Slayer right now, but there was an earlier Demon Slayer like in 2020 that we never got, but we see everyone around the world is losing their minds about it. And I'm not so sure if you're the distributor for that.
Unfortunately not.
But I'm sure there's some movies in which, you've experienced that, they're outside globally, but we never get them, or if we get them, they come out later. For example, I'll give an example of like Nosferatu. Came out in December last year, but we got it here in February, around that. So what's the criteria? How comes we get some, we lose some,
Okay.
or we get some late?
So let's tackle Demon Slayer.
Mm-hmm.
The first Demon Slayer was released in the market. Okay. We didn't distribute. It did release. It didn't have an audience. Or maybe that phenomena and hype wasn't there.
Yeah.
Okay. Somehow the first Demon Slayer managed to build that hype, but it was too late to be in cinema. Cinema has a shelf life.
Yeah.
If the hype was only built after the film released internationally, and in the local market, or in the US when it was dubbed in English or so, by then it was too late to bring to cinema, and so the first did not release, but the second had demand. So coming to your second point is, cinemas have limited number of screens. There are only 13 cinemas in Kenya.
13 as in The businesses themselves or the brands?
Locations.
Locations.
Yes.
In Kenya.
Yes. For
Really?
a what, 50 million population? 50, 55? We're about that, right?
That's a small number.
That is a very small number. So you can imagine what they can really cater for. Every seat, every bum counts. There is also a very niche market audience. My statistics show, again, these are not really proven, but this is over time that we collect data, and in every business, data is the key component.
Yeah.
We have an assumption that there are 250 to 300,000 audience that come to the cinemas in a year 4 times. That's it. So they're repeat audience. You don't tend to generally find new customers coming. It's a very rare case. I would probably say maybe 2 to 5%. And it depends on a film like maybe Passion of the Christ, which is the one movie I saw that brought audience that had never been to cinema, and after Passion of the Christ never came back.
The rest are all repeat customers.
So that's one challenge we have, where we don't have a large customer base. I don't know whether it's ticket price or where they're located. They're only targeting a very upmarket audience. The lower market is very comfortable with piracy, but our biggest competitor is piracy, nothing else. So the type of films that are brought in are really based on what the mass liking would be. And therefore you find the bigger titles releasing day and date, where we don't take a chance to fight it against piracy. So all these Marvel and superhero movies, most of the big movies are released day and date.
Yeah.
And then you have the horror genre. It just doesn't work in this market. In the US, the Conjuring series, for example, big blockbusters. While here, we have to struggle to get audience. The last Conjuring, the last rites, did the best out of all the horror movies, but even then, it could be a quarter of these superhero films.
Yeah.
That's the level you're looking at. So Nosferatu was delayed for a reason that internationally also some films are aligned to release together. For example, we have a film called Rental Family. It is by the same makers who made Parasite. And so the studio feels this film will likely be an Oscar contender.
Yes.
Although it has released in the US, they have asked us to delay till January because it's not your Fantastic Fours and things like that, which if we didn't release on time, they'll be pirated. People could wait. They wouldn't even know much about this film. But the idea is if it's releasing closer to Oscar, some hype around the Oscar nominations and maybe the win can help us sell the movie better.
Okay.
And so you'll find some films releasing later in that scenario. But we still find, I think 90% of the films are now releasing day and date. We try and release them on the same date because, like I said, piracy is such a big issue. If I tell you the statistics, you would be quite surprised.
Surprise us.
Yeah. So all the business that we do in cinema and Netflixes and whatnots, because you legitimately pay for. Guess how much of a business that constitutes in percentage?
I would say 20%.
Okay. Now let me shock you. 1%.
1%.
Yes.
1%.
We officially pay
and that's
taxes
globally.
on 1%. 99% is non-taxed, pirated. And so the consumption is clearly there.
Is that a Kenya problem or a global problem?
It's a global problem. But in the third world, we don't have support. And therefore, it is harder to curtail piracy. In the first world, IPs are being blocked. Since now, bulk of the piracy is online. You don't need to go house to house to seal DVDs and VCDs and hard drives and whatnots. You can simply block the IP. You don't have access. That's it. It cuts your streaming. If you keep buffering and you're frustrated, you'll walk away from it. In Kenya, we have the law that IPs and ISPs can help us block, but enforcement is another question. We have a lobbying group as a result. We call it Partners Against Piracy, which I sit on. I'm not as active currently, but they have been, we've been excessively trying to push, and we have had, some luck with with getting, these IPTV boxes.
Mm-hmm.
We've had scenarios where we've raided their premises that have been raided, and you find these servers and stuff, and they've been picked up. But these are, one-off cases that are not enough versus the industry as a whole that is being pirated.
Mm-hmm.
It is a global phenomena, and it is tough. But a lot of the world's markets are working very hard to control,
Yeah.
and they are getting somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, this is the first of the IPTV blockages. There was somewhere in Egypt where they picked up, and they actually stopped, and it disrupted quite a bit of IPTVs because the servers were sitting there, and it was quite a bit of a disruption recently.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a start.
Mm-hmm.
It'll
It'll be.
grow because they've found a way to try and get the IPTVs bouncing servers. They found a mechanism to that. So this all will change.
Mm-hmm.
But in Kenya, it's still hard.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
And I was gonna ask if Professor X is your favorite superhero, because you just read my mind. Because I was going to go into piracy, and I want to quote the way we came up with the topic that we are discussing now is we were reviewing a certain Netflix movie, and we were like, why isn't this on the big screen? And one of our, the co-hosts said, which is a sentiment that I'm kind of starting to agree with, in terms of the entertainment industry for the consumer. Piracy is kind of a necessary evil. It is an evil, but for the sake of the art form to thrive, people have to get them in the most convenient way they can, especially in our country where access is very limited. Like we see the delayed releases or releases that don't come, or even with ticket price, and there's very little dispensable income. So people resort to piracy for to get to see the art, to see the movie, and eventually the hype builds, and when there are later sequels later on, now people actually privy to buying tickets. So I guess it must have been very frustrating during that era where everyone had to shops with selling 50 bob CDs, because that counts as piracy, right? And so, do you see piracy as a sign of demand? First of all, do you agree with that sentiment that for the sake of the art form, piracy is a necessary evil? And is it a reaction to minimal supply? Is it an indicator of people actually do want to see these films, we just don't have access?
I would agree.
Mm-hmm.
People do want to watch. That's why piracy is thriving.
Yeah.
It has an audience. I also agree that it's accessibility.
Mm-hmm.
Like I earlier said, there are only 13 cinemas.
Mm-hmm.
One in Mombasa, one in Eldoret, one in Kisumu.
Mm-hmm.
The rest are in Nairobi.
Mm-hmm.
But what part of Nairobi? Yeah. So access is obviously an issue that a customer in Nakuru does what?
Mm-hmm.
Drive to Eldoret or drive to, drive down to Nairobi.
Mm-hmm.
What do they do to consume a movie?
Mm-hmm.
It's not practical.
Yeah.
Although in some instances when it's like a big blockbuster, like say a Black Panther,
Mm-hmm.
there have been instances where people have actually traveled. There was in fact one really funny article that had come out where these people in Zimbabwe,
Mm-hmm.
and what they'd done is at that time there was no cinema there, and they were doing these shuttle services, and they were marketing it as go and watch Black Panther. So you buy a ticket that covers your bus transport to somewhere in Joburg or somewhere in South Africa
Mm-hmm.
where there's a cinema. So it takes you there, you spend the night, you watch the movie, you have eateries and whatnots, and then they bring you back.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like an excursion being made out of a movie. That's how popular it was. And at that time, the studio was trying very hard. For the bigger movies, there's more budget, there's more muscle power. They're trying online at the moment they see a link, block it, because virtually
Mm-hmm.
they can go anywhere. And we were also being helpful where we see links, we start sharing with them, so their legal teams go and do what they need to do. which drove to that scenario. Now in Kenya, for big films like that, maybe people might do a little bit of travel here and there, but it's still difficult. I live in Kileleshwa. The closest cinema to me is at Junction or Prestige Cinema.
Yeah.
And that's where I could likely go and watch a movie. But what of somebody who lives very far off, like, I don't know, Thika, Athi River, or living in Thika,
Yeah.
maybe Garden City, those sites. But I mean, it's still a bit unpractical. You know, in the Western world, there's a cinema that covers every suburb.
Yeah.
So generally, the accessibility is there. So the first hand is when you get a movie, people want to enjoy. The best experience is still in the cinema, which
Yeah,
people agree to.
I
So if they
agree.
had a choice, they would go there. But if that choice does not exist, they pirate. Again, the innocent consumer does not know what is a difference between legit and piracy. That is again an issue of education. When you go to YouTube and you find a movie there, you think YouTube is a legit platform.
Yeah.
Movies on YouTube, all good, but it may not be. Somebody is violating a right. Somebody can put an entire movie on Facebook these days.
Yeah.
Okay? There's violation of a right. But who is to explain to an innocent consumer, somebody who is not from this business, like my grandmother? How would she know what she's doing? She's just consuming the content.
Yeah.
And she thinks, okay,
This is
I was
fine.
given this and it's all good. So there's a lack of awareness, which also is a reason. And then accessibility. Today, there's so much content out there. There's only a handful, those cream films that are coming to cinema. Then you have Netflix originals, Prime originals, Hotstar, Disney Plus, HBO Max, Universal. There's so many of them.
Yeah.
And then there are films that are releasing that don't make it to cinema, but they do release in theaters, right? Where do you consume these films? We don't have Disney Plus officially.
Yeah.
We don't have HBO Max, Universal. We don't have these. So what happens to the content on those platforms? I want to watch everything. I consume quite a bit of content. Where do I catch that?
www.fmovies.com. Am I promoting piracy? I'm sorry, guys.
But
I didn't say anything.
well, at least we're opening up about it.
Yeah.
This is how it works. Now, to curtail that, even platforms are starting to have their own legit YouTube channels, and once they have launched the product on the OTT or whatever platform, especially where reality TV is concerned, because the shelf life is a day. They are putting it on YouTube. They're putting it on other official platforms where you could consume it legitimately.
Yeah.
Because they're in the same issue. Before a pirate counters that, at least on YouTube, they'll gain some audience and they might earn some money out of it also.
Yeah.
So it is a big issue. For us, it's a major issue because if I give you numbers, Black Panther did about $500,000 box office in Kenya. Okay, that's 1%. Do the reversal. Wow. How much money that could have made in cinema.
Yeah.
Trust me, I'd be giving this interview virtually. Because I'd have made a certain percentage out of that.
Yeah.
But we don't. That is a harsh reality. And that is money that has been lost on taxes. It's money that has been lost to pay creatives who will never get it.
Yeah.
Because the pirate channel, God knows where the money goes.
Yeah. So I'd also like to know at what point would now the consumer be wrong or legally fined? Say like the way I've just mentioned that site, I won't say again in case you decide to come for me. At what point now would be the consumer be like, oh yeah, I've just watched this movie on my laptop on an illegal website. The next thing, the police are at my door. Is that how it's supposed to be? Is that at what point would I now be taken to court as a consumer?
Ideally, yes. A consumer consuming, knowing that they are pirating is also illegal. But like I said, where would you come to know of this? It's difficult.
Yeah.
But it is really the platform that is carrying it or showing it is the culprit.
Yeah.
And so they need to be caught. Now, gladly virtually, it's much easier. physically, you mentioned about the video shops.
Yes.
They still exist. It's a
Yeah.
robust business.
Mm.
I also co-found and run an online platform, yakwetu.africa, which is meant for African movies, documentaries, and shorts specifically. And it's meant for the Kenyan, African, and the diaspora audience. Now, with that, we are in the process of developing a very interesting part of that service, which works very closely with these video shops because we want to legitimize the business. But while we were actually doing a survey on it, we went to see these video libraries. And just within the vicinity of town, Tomboya Street and around there, there are about 5,000 shops that we were told exist. And they have like a solid distribution channel. These guys, at the time we went, it was the second Black Panther that had just come out on Disney Plus. So it was like, you get the digital copy
So
pirated.
that's very recently, like
Each of these
2023.
little video
Yeah.
shops have a TV screen, and that's their
Yeah.
marketing tool. A little tiny place, but there's a little screen. People come with their hard drives, their flash drives, their phones. They load the movies, pay their 50 bobs, and walk away. If there are only 5,000 that you're talking about here, these guys have the network channel that as soon as the film comes out, it is on whatever formats and it's sent out across Kenya through buses and matatus and whatnots. And everybody within the day have that content available to sell out.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not just a matter of...
Very efficient system.
It's not just getting into the website, you say what you want, they download it for you. They actually have people
They've
distributing
downloaded
it.
and ready. Because internet, the way we urban people think is so easy, it's not. Those people in the village, do they know so much about the internet? Do they have accessibility? Are they using data that efficiently?
That's tricky. It's tricky for them.
So that is existent. And let me tell you how efficient these people are. You think these DHLs and FedEx and Aramex and all these bus services doing letter deliveries and stuff, they are nowhere near these guys. So robust. Their distribution channels are very, very organized, and they have them laid. The network is there. So we thought, why break the chain? Let's work with them. So we're working on something that once ready and we've tested, I think it will be a breakthrough in focusing on piracy and collecting data, which is very key. Because here, whatever we're working with is assumptions. Remember, these guys are selling 50 bob. I mean, we were told that they do business of 2,000 to 3,000 shillings on a low day. So multiply that times 5,000 shops. That's on,
That's on
rock bottom day.
Yeah.
But when you have hits that come out, there is large interest to quickly consume.
Yeah.
So it could be higher. So that's one aspect that is really hurtful to the cinema business as well, because the ticket prices are higher. Remember, they're in shopping malls, they're paying high rentals. These projection systems don't cost cheap. The government has zero support, so you're paying taxes through your nose. Nowadays, there's VAT, there's withholding VAT, there's withholding tax. As a business, there's income tax.
Yeah.
There's so much that what are you left with at the end of the day? So the ticket has to be, at a higher price.
Bit pricey, yeah.
Which is an unfortunate thing, but it is what it is. If there was relief from the government in importing more projectors, relief on duties of the projectors, the servers, things like that, maybe relief on the film tax, something, then there would be a growth in this industry.
Yeah.
We're not even in the GDP. We're not listed as an industry.
Yeah.
There's no data available. That's why. If there was, our Kenyan industry would be flourishing. We're insignificant. I recently saw that there was no Oscar movie nominated this year.
Yeah.
I think it was just announced yesterday.
It was a TV show by is it the Prefects TV show?
Yes.
Yeah.
But no movie has been selected despite having entries. That's sad.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have even one single film that can be sufficient enough to be nominated as part of the Kenyan contingent to the Oscars.
Yeah. That's
Sad. Because there isn't audience. I mean, and in fact, because I'm in the business.
Mm-hmm.
If we look at the movies, a lot of people may have not even heard of them, that they came and went.
Yeah.
There's a basic rule applicable to an Oscar entry. It must have been shown 7 days minimum in cinema.
Yes.
Some of these movies have not even made it even one day.
Mm-hmm.
They do a premiere. So the Kenyan movies have a standard. They produce a film, do a premiere at one of the cinemas, sell tickets at a certain price to try and get some money out, pay for the event, pay some of it out to some of the creatives that they've not paid yet. Maybe it helps settle a little bit, and then they dream that the film will make it to Netflix.
Yeah.
Now even Netflix is not keen. So it's a tough market, but as an industry, there's nothing being done to uplift them.
Yeah.
So we are reliant only on international content because at least we know there's a support channel. They're releasing films. Post-COVID now, they've upped their game. Only big, fancy movies are coming to the
out.
cinemas. There's a lot focus on 3D. The smaller movies are not making it. And truly, the demographic has changed where people are saying, I'll watch it on OTT or I'll pirate it.
Yeah.
It has to be a dazzle, like an Avatar. You want to see it in the big screen because that you'll not enjoy on your TV. So films like that are coming more and more. And so at least our business eco chain works and continues working. But I wish we had more Kenyan content that could flourish and have the cinemas more busier.
Yeah.
But we just don't. And when we do, they're not enough audience. There's very lack of marketing. Quality is improving. A lot of these filmmakers are working with co-productions in other countries where are established, and so the production value is improving. But then there's no marketing.
So that brings me to a few myth or fact questions. So you can either answer as confirm it as a myth or confirm it as a fact. And just like what we are talking about in Kenya, with the local films, maybe let me start with that because that's what you hinted at. The statement is that it's harder to distribute local films here than it is Hollywood films. Myth or fact?
Fact.
Okay, and that's because of like what you're saying. There isn't channels for like marketing or people to actually get word out there that these films exist and so you should come to watch them.
One is marketing. Two is also the filmmakers are not very aware of what they should do post making the films. They don't trust distributors. To an extent, previously things may have been different, but we're working on a very transparent and ways to build the industry. But the trust levels are not there. They want to hold on to some rights. They just want to give you partial rights. In distribution also, if we don't have clarity, putting in the effort makes no sense. At the end of the day, the cinema is there to make money. They want to put a film that will draw footfall.
Yes.
If they don't get it from the Kenyan movies, they won't support us. Likewise, then I go to the filmmaker and say, look, I can't give you a guarantee. If you give me confirmation now, I will reach out and it depends on how your film is going to be marketed and what your film's worth. Maybe the star cast, they're pushing it, things like that would have traction in cinema. We can work this eco chain. So they say, well, if you're not guaranteed, then we can't give you the film. So it's an egg and hen situation. They want to handle it themselves, which is another thing that doesn't work right. We all have expertise in our lines. That's why we're successful. If you're a filmmaker, focus on your filmmaking. Let the other expert after that handle their bit. So you want to do a premiere, get your PR team. Let them handle it. You want to do distribution? Give us the distribution. We're not marketers though. Remember that. You need to have a marketing agency, or you must have, while you're filmmaking, why Hollywood is successful is when they announce the cast, even before filmmaking, they announce this is the next Bond. Your anticipation is already driving, from that point. Then they have behind the scenes. Tom Cruise has to have that one scene that his entire film sells on. When they do that stunt, they have to publicize it. That stunt is even more important than the trailer launch. From then, your eyes are all on it. I have to see that scene. Hell with the whole movie. That scene is what sold the film. How long ago did they do that? 8, 9 months, a year prior. So when a film is being made, a lot of the decisions on what your poster should look like, what your trailer should look like, that you are going to spend 1.5, 2 minutes to convince somebody to watch a movie, to watch your movie.
Yeah.
That trailer has to be something, because it's a hit or miss at that point. If you don't like that trailer,
You
if
won't
you
watch
like
the
it,
film.
you'll start talking to your friends. Hey, have you seen this trailer?
Yeah.
Go watch it. We must make a plan to watch this film. You know, that's the reaction. So there's two sides to it. This bit is not being focused on too well. Years ago, this is when I was at Fox in early 90s, a filmmaker came to me and said, I have this movie. It was in VHS. She said, I have this movie we finished, and I want to run it this Friday. She came to me on a Tuesday. Those days, we were running reels. And the only source of informing the customer was through the newspaper cinema guides, if you recall, in the Nation Standard, and there was one other newspaper. And so by Tuesday evening, we had to send our schedules. If we did not, we miss and they make an error. It's chaos on the floor after that. So we told her, this Friday is not possible. Number one, our schedules are ready and they're about to be sent out. She said, no, make a change. Okay, we said, now we run reels. How will we run a VHS tape? I don't know. We'll figure it out. I said, these reels don't even get manufactured in Kenya.
Yeah.
They need to go out to some lab where they do it. India or UK, US. South Africa even didn't back then. So there was no plan. And I said, how do we market? She's like, we'll tell people. There was really no thought to it.
Yeah.
Is there a poster? No. Trailer? No. There's only a movie. So we had to politely decline. We said, we cannot do it this Friday. We really need to think through. We don't mind showing the film, but there are no ticks to what our requirements are. So let's work on those. Then we decide another date. We decide a date that gives us time to market the movie. Back then, our schedules were done 3 months prior. It's just the way everything is very manual.
Yeah.
Nowadays you can announce a movie today and release it on Friday.
Yeah.
Because of social media. It's not the ideal way, but it's possible.
Yeah.
Back then it wasn't. The censor board application, okay, she had done the censor. But she was so abusive, so annoyed, and there was nothing we could do. We just calmly declined and we let it be.
So usually it has to start from the filmmaker.
Yes.
Like make the film, come up with a plan, and then now bring it to you for distribution.
Yes. Like I'll ask you, off your head, recently, what trailer have you seen that has excited you to watch the film? Hollywood, Kenyan, your choice.
Anaconda.
Okay, why?
Because, okay, first of all, how it looks. And it's a name that's familiar from previous films. There's the cast there. And I think about the cinema experience and I'm like, yeah, it's going to be great. And another one is Tron, because, the music, the visuals. Again, it's another movie from a while back. And I'd say Tron because it's about to come out like next week, if I'm not wrong. That's a huge one in my mind.
And
right
a Kenyan movie?
A Kenyan movie, I can't mention any.
Exactly. They're not exciting enough to be like, wow, what is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess, the filmmakers really need to focus that the filmmaking is not about just filmmaking. And I think them learning what happens when the film is finished, their knowledge is till that point. It stops there. Then they're like, now what do we do? So that's where they are guided and misguided. And then together with that confusion, they release. And then they go learning on the go. Let's try this. Let's try this. Let's try this. Try is the word. When by now we should have had some establishment. So we don't have someone that can gel them together and say, this is what must be followed.
Mm-hmm.
We start doing this. In 5 years, we'll see success.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying now,
Mm-hmm.
but it has to recurrently be done until you get to a point where people are noticing you, like the Nigerian industry.
Yeah.
It is now blossomed because what happened 10-15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that has gone to evolve that the world is actually sitting up to see what they have.
Yeah.
So that's the bit we are not focusing on.
Mm-hmm.
We also don't have the frequency. Cinemas need continuity.
Yeah.
We give them a lineup up to 2026. The
Yeah.
cinemas support Crimson because I have gone to them and said, I have a movie for you next week, and I have a movie for you every week. And when we don't, they harass us.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of the exhibitors who just called when I unfortunately forgot to put my phone on silent,
Mm-hmm.
is because he's chasing me. He wants a movie for Diwali.
Mm-hmm.
For his community.
Yeah.
And so I have to go and source these content.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm also looking after their interest. But in my way, I'm looking for those gaps where I have to have a movie.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's cash flow.
Yeah.
I need to have it running.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not even about what I'm going to release. The fact that I have something for their eco chain to maintain.
Mm-hmm.
They need that same repeat audience week on week. So they're looking for new content.
Yeah.
So if Kenyan films were robust and I had confidence that every month we could have one film releasing, we can build it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have that confidence right now.
It's not yet
It's
there.
tough.
Okay. Another myth or fact question, which is something that has been thrown around for I'd say maybe the last 5 years, is that cinema is dying because of streaming. Myth or fact?
Myth.
Why myth? And I'm glad you say that. I agree. But let's hear it from you, since I know you've dealt with the cinema, you
What
have
was
the
the last
data.
big movie you saw in cinema?
That was Demon Slayer.
You went on a weekend, weekday?
On a weekend.
On a weekend.
Yeah.
How was the cinema experience?
100% fantastic.
How busy was the cinema?
That day was particularly busy. I would say 75 to 80% full.
Did you feel like it's dying?
No.
It's those people who don't go to the cinemas say that.
Mm-hmm.
For them, it's a myth.
Mm-hmm.
In reality, if they actually went to the cinema,
Mm-hmm.
they would understand that it's not dying. There was a phase, yes. During COVID, there was a speculation that cinemas are dead. And it was a very sorry time for the cinemas. First shut for over a year,
Mm-hmm.
then opened and it was so sad that there's zero support from the government.
Mm-hmm.
When the businesses were asked to shut, everybody was shut. Then there was an announcement in phases that this industry can open, this industry can open, this industry can open. There was no mention of the film industry.
Mm-hmm.
We as distributors and exhibitors had to form a group of our own. We approached the Kenya Censor Board and the Kenya Film Commission because we don't know where we fall under.
Mm-hmm.
We talked to both. We had consultative meetings online and we said to them, no, we've been forgotten. How do we open cinemas? There's no announcement.
Mm-hmm.
They had no solutions either. So what we decided is, we all decided, go to your own constituencies or local city, county offices or whatever, and tell them to give you business operating forms.
Mm-hmm.
Fill those, pay your fees, and tell them we want to open. Let's see what happens. And that's how we all opened. Nobody said no, and we opened. So can you imagine? First of all, we were clueless.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we were not sure if we've done the right thing, and we will be harassed for this, but we did it. Businesses started again. For a good year, there were no decent films coming out. The studios were also churning repeats. Tenet, which released during the COVID time, which was a good film, was re-released. No audience. Now, this was a phase of time when I'm scared of a virus around me. Why would I go to the cinema? Yeah. So even if there was a new film, it wouldn't work. So it was, I would say, 2.5 years maybe, 2020, 2021, a bulk part of 2022. There was hardly any business. These businesses have struggled. We were all in it. As a distributor, we blew all our savings just to try and sustain. There was no revenue coming in. There was monies owed. People couldn't pay us. We couldn't pay onward. There's a thin line. There's juggling going on. We sailed out of it. But from about early 2023, 2024, now
Mhm.
2025, it's been two and
It's
a
come.
half years of, I would say, God's grace,
Mhm.
good movies, people's faith in coming back to cinema. And I think it's films, certain films that are making that right. A film like Sinners, for example,
Mhm.
it's a simple movie. It's shot in IMAX. And when I watched it, I didn't watch it in IMAX and I thought, yeah, it was okay.
Mhm.
Then I watched it in IMAX and I was like, whoa, this is a filmmaker with
Mhm.
with a smart thought in their mind. Comes Conjuring, it's hell scary when you watch it on IMAX. And
Mhm.
we don't have 4DX. If we had things like that, that would be another experience on its own, which you can't experience at home. So you want to
Yeah.
go to the cinema. For me as a mother, I'd like to sit in a cinema where there's no remote control, so no flipping channels with ads,
Mhm.
no other disruption.
Yeah.
I can focus and finish a movie in 1.5 hours. At home, I never do that. It's watch, pause, stop. You're sleepy, some distraction, something happening, and then you have to continue. If you forget, you forget. That content is even gone.
Yeah.
That's the good part about cinema, and that experience is only experienced when you have a full house of cinema. People are laughing with you, crying with you.
Mhm.
The joy, that experience is never felt anywhere else. So that is indeed myth. The numbers show also that it's a myth.
Mhm.
Yes, sometimes on the weekdays there's no business.
Mhm.
But I mean, have you not walked into restaurants that are empty also?
Yeah.
Have they closed down?
Yeah.
It's because it's seasonal kind of business. But when they're driving, they're driving. But yes, it is a struggle that there is piracy, and that does eat into
Mm.
that business.
Yeah.
Um, if piracy was curtailed, the cinemas would do very well,
Mhm.
and there would be um, some motivation to expansion and more cinemas.
Mm. Well, I'd say part of the argument for the cinema is dying cult is from one the culture around cinema. Maybe the audience itself. People, how streaming is becoming more prevalent, and there are a lot of other fun things to do. Social media. The idea of content as well. Because you mentioned there was a time where Kiss the Girls was showing in cinemas and people would watch that. But right now, the audience is tuned to coming in from the big blockbuster movies.
Yes.
So is it, you know, so people say cinema is dying because people only go for the big blockbuster movies, which is more about the hype of watching it with people and being, the fear of missing out, rather than the actual cinema culture and loving the art form as it is. It's more of like, a social thing now.
I would agree. So, just the way the demographics have changed. The
Mm-hmm.
smaller movies people are waiting for to watch on OTT or pirating because there isn't much visual to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a storyline you're following. So, if you didn't have your 3D glasses on to see, Benedict Cumberbatch uh, in a love story,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't make a difference. But you want to watch a Fantastic Four in 3D or you want to watch a Tron in 3D
Mm-hmm.
because that effect you won't get at home. So as the demographics have changed, the studios have also evolved. And that's why, from 2020, it took a bit of time till about 2023 because they were refocusing on what should we get into cinema
Mm-hmm.
and what should be sidelined to release in our OTT platforms.
Mm-hmm.
So we released a film called Roses, Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman,
Yeah.
British comedy.
Mm-hmm.
What an and I can tell you, in this year, that's one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful movie about a couple falling in love and falling out of love and what the aftermath of it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's a British comedy to add bonus to it. The humor is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And the lead pair, these are, really amazing actors. When put together, this film is amazing to watch, but it's a small film for cinema,
Mm-hmm.
especially in this market. In the UK,
Yeah.
because they're British actors, they would, it's a British production. But in Kenya, it had a small audience. We released and it went out in 2-3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
That film would have done better on OTT. But because there was a gap in cinema, we decided, let's go for it. We have nothing to lose. At least the cinemas will get something to release. Remember, talking about the calendar, we are always watchful of something having to release every week. So such a film is watched on OTT. But the bigger films, and now you'll realize that there is a big film almost every month. When I say big, I'm talking about like a Fantastic Four. There's Conjuring this month. There's Tron next month. Then there is Zootopia coming in November. There is also Predator, Badlands, that's coming in November. And then comes December, Christmas time, when you have Avatar to take the show. Every other film has kind of stepped out because they know how Avatar does. And in December, Fire and Ash is going to be something spectacular. The studios are taking a lot of effort in just making sure each projector has the right format available that it can project the best it can to the audience. So there's so many versions. We've been working since January this year to test different projectors with different sites. 24 frames, 48 frames, the sound formats, the audio, the scope and flat formats, everything is being looked at thoroughly, so that the end result, whether you go to Junction or you go to Garden City or you go to Two Rivers, each projector has the different way, and they'll be given their own version to ensure you get the right visuality. We've been encouraging cinemas to have their projectors pre serviced. They look at everything, because when the end product comes, they want to dazzle their customer, because that's what the customer is expecting.
Yeah.
The customer ain't going to watch that on small screen. Trust me, they'll be like, what rubbish, it's just like one of those movies that you watch again.
Yeah.
So they have something or the other every month, and the smaller titles either make it to Disney Plus. Like you'll have noticed, Disney Plus is doing a lot of Star Wars stuff that's not coming in cinema,
Yeah.
because it's probably not that audience worthy. So it has the sci-fi elements and stuff, but to dazzle, they take time such that next year when Mando and Grogu come in July, they are ready to smash the cinemas. The Star Wars fans are expecting to see something really amazing.
Yeah.
Visually. So that has gone on. Similarly, from the Bollywood side, the audience are looking at musical, these family kind of dramas. There's been a mix of it. There are a lot of misses than hits, unfortunately, recently with Bollywood. But they're also evolving. They're trying different types of formats. They're trying 3D. There are movies in IMAX being released. We never heard of that. Only because they're looking at visual effects and they're trying to see how do we dazzle the customer, such that when they watch it there, they're anticipating to watch it in cinema before they watch it on OTT. In the Bollywood world, the
clear,
OTT is a month after the theatrical release, so it's a really tightrope.
What does OTT stand for?
Over the top.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's like streaming and
all streaming platforms, basically. Yes.
All right. And so, oh, sorry, I feel like I cut you short.
No, I think I'd got my point through. So I think, yes, I feel it's a myth. But we need more audience, certainly. Like I said, if they do better, then there is a scope of motivating them to improve their facilities and also build more cinemas, which in turn will just grow that business.
Yeah.
We just don't have enough to show the numbers, sadly.
Yeah, I also agree that it's just maybe the motivation behind watching movies in cinemas has changed, but people are still going to cinemas, even if it's just a social or a clout thing, and that's what keeps cinema thriving.
Yes.
And so as we wrap up, I'd just like to know your prediction for the future in Kenya and Africa at large when it comes to distributing film both internationally and locally. Where do you see the growth of how people will be consuming film in cinema in the next 5 years? International film and local film.
Okay. I know right now streaming is quite popular. But there's always a cyclical thing. And with the number of streaming platforms that are bursting out, how many can you subscribe to? So I see one that either all these platforms will consolidate into, like, how DSTV offers multi-channels. So you pay one subscription and you have multiple streaming platforms under it. But if you want to consume a Jurassic Park, you need to go into Universal. And if you want to watch a Harry Potter, you go into Warner, something like that. I don't know if as competitors, they would be keen on. Personally, these IPTVs are actually offering that right now, and that's why it's such a convenient solution, but it's
But those
illegal.
are pirates.
Yes,
Yeah.
so it and it will have a shelf life. Like I said, there is a way found to try and contain these IPTVs or their servers as they bounce around very cleverly. There will be a way found, and there will be a solution to that also, and something else will pop up.
Mm-hmm.
It never dies. But what will happen is, because of the shelf life, people will also get past this streaming thing and they'll get bored of it.
Mm-hmm.
Cinemas have seen that cyclical thing. There was VHS, VCDs,
Mm-hmm.
DVDs. There were beta tapes before that. All that has come and gone. Cinemas have held on,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I believe that cinemas will still continue because it is one medium which also keeps evolving from a technology perspective. You have Screen X now, which has one screen and two screens on the side. When you sit there, you feel like you are within.
Mm-hmm.
It's like virtual reality. So they're also evolving in terms of what they can offer to the customer ahead of what others can.
Mm-hmm.
So I think cinemas will continue to exist. How much? Only piracy and time can tell.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and for the Kenyan titles is very grey, very up in the air. We have had a lot of consultative meetings to try and talk about building an ecosystem, a robust ecosystem where there are a lot of distributors. Unlike my theatrical business where there isn't too much competition and we kind of all eco-survive because of how the studios have robust agreements. I support them because they support me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you see, they can make big deals globally because they know. Let's take a movie like Black Panther. They through us and other distributors, fellow distributors, will get data that they will be able to figure out if Black Panther did so much, Black Panther will do so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is the level. So for us, we should market this much. We should pump in this much money in marketing, in the content itself, in the cast, in everything we do to make it to this level. We have a target which we have all set as experts in our market.
Yeah.
That support they give us that right and say exploit. If you make good money, you will make money out of it, but you will not be crumpled by other people because you've invested in now building a network for yourself, and then suddenly you discover there's somebody else also offering the movie. It doesn't work. So their distribution network is so well set. We like to support them because they support us. For the Kenyan films, we need to build that. If that ecosystem comes into play, where a film releases after production, it has a premiere, it has media screenings, it has audio, it has public screenings in cinema, and then it moves to a local TV that is a partner. Let them premiere it once, then let it move on to satellite TV, let it go onto an OTT, a streaming platform, let it go to airlines, transport systems, and go everywhere for the 2 years, and then come back to the free to air TV that can show it again, like a nice ecosystem where they make money in all different pockets. They gather this up. They don't have to borrow money. They can invest this in another film. You can already see the economics behind it.
Yeah.
It's a logical way to work, but to have this system running, that's the hard part. So if we get that right, I think there is potential because I see good quality films, but they're very few. They need to be more. And how much can we rely on funding all the time? We need to be in a position where we can self-fund and get quality product in, so that it makes it makes sense, and audience is also getting used to getting good content. So I think I wouldn't want to comment where we would head because I really don't know. It's a very gray area, but this is my forecast. If it can be done this way, in 5 years it can be a promising scenario for the Kenyan films as well.
All right. That's all the time we had. Thank you so much for gracing our studios. It's good to have someone who is actually in the industry to like bust the myths and give us perspective into how the industry is, audience-wise and also financially, and the future of what's to come. So thank you so much for being on the show, and thank you for giving us hope that cinema is still alive. So these are your 15 seconds of fame. Look into this camera, plug yourself or plug Crimson, what's to come, what should we expect, are there tickets to give away, or, just give us a little bit of something to look forward to.
Okay, so busy seasons coming up. There's Tron, Ares, Zootopia, Predator Badlands, and Avatar, Fire and Ash. Don't go anywhere else but the cinema to watch these films. As we said, it's a myth. Cinemas are here to stay. Make sure you watch them in cinema and keep us motivating us to keep bringing you new movies every month on month. And yes, I mean, let's see what we can do in terms of marketing as well, and try and push these movies better. But yes, I would urge people to go and watch and continue to be in cinemas.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Trushna, and I hope to see you here again.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
Trushna Patel, ladies and gentlemen. Give her a round of applause. Woo!